Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, and this is another episode in my card making for beginners series. I think we're on number 27 at the moment, so welcome if you're a beginner card maker. You might want to go right back to the beginning of the series as I gradually go through lots of techniques and things. This is not maybe a complete beginner technique because it does require a die cutter. And if you're just beginning on your journey, you may not have invested in a die cutter yet. But for those of you that have, and I know there are a lot of you, this video will help you make the most of your envelopes, which I think is always really great when you're making handmade cards. To send it in a lovely envelope just makes it even more special. So today we're going to be looking at how to make envelope liners like this one, and make little patterns on the outsides of your envelopes as well. So this is one of our note card envelopes. It's got a lovely liner in there, so if you were doing a card using this DSP, that would link in really nicely, or even just stamping in, that's Pear Pizzazz, that colour. So that would be lovely. Got another one here with a different pattern. This one's Melon Mambo. Actually, I haven't glued that in very evenly. I haven't glued that very well, but you can see the effect. Really nice, and a lovely pattern on the outside. This one, I love this pattern. This is one of our bigger envelopes. This is our sort of C6 envelopes. You'll find the Whisper White ones are out of stock at the minute because Whisper White is being discontinued, but we've got a new paper and card stock coming in called Basic White, and you'll be able to get envelopes again in that size quite soon in exactly the same design. This one's got some Christmassy paper in the liner, and then peeping through the envelope. Beautiful, beautiful pattern there on the envelope. How lovely is that? And then we've got some other things here. So this is one of our 3x3 envelopes, so little tiny cards, but again makes it just so special to have a nice liner inside there. And then these two, all I've done is cut the edge with a scallop, so you've got just a bit more interesting edge there. And then this one, I've added a panel of DSP and then cut it with the scallop, so that we've got a nice scallop edge and a coloured edge there. Really, really easy to do. And what I used to do this are these dies. Now, these dies are called the envelope dies. I think that's all they're called. Yes, just called the envelopes dies. And they came with a matching stamp set in the Christmas catalogue, in the last mini that catalogue retires on the 4th of January. So if you wanted to get these dies, you need to be super quick. But they are lovely, and I can see these staying in my stash for a long time, because so you've got a couple of the dies that are designed to go with the stamp set. So these were designed to go, there was a sort of combination of baubles that this was meant to go to. The stamp set is now completely sold out, but these dies are still available, and they were £33 and they're now half price, so they're £16.50. And you've got so many different options here for decorating your envelopes. I think this is a set that will stay in your stash for a long time. These ones were designed to go with the stamp set, but I think they'd still be quite useful, those little flowers to punch out, so I die cut out, so I think those would be quite useful. So what we are going to do is we're going to do something similar to this today. First of all, I'm just going to show you how to die cut the liner, how to glue it in, and then how to cut out how to cut out the pattern as well. So I'm going to take the largest of, so you can see we've got 4 actually of these ones with the sides. You've got one without sides, which is what I use to do this scalloped edge here, but you've got 3 here with sides, and then a smaller one. This smaller one is the one that goes with the little 3x3 envelope, and I really do think that's so cute. So you just cut that out and pop that in there. Same technique as I'm going to show you on the bigger envelope, but just a smaller one. And then we're going to take the biggest one of these. So one of these will do the note cards, and I think the other one will do one of the Memories and More card blanks. I'm fairly sure that's what that's for. I don't have any of those card blanks, so I couldn't actually practice it. Right, okay, let's put that to one side. So I'm going to take one of our C6 envelopes. They are available in Very Vanilla if you haven't got any of our envelopes. And of course you do need these envelopes with this kind of flap. It's no good having a diamond fold one. So just bear that in mind. Right, I'm going to bring in my die cutter. You can notice I've not got any grid paper, because when I use grid paper, the die cutter seems to send it all over the place, and I can't get a firm grip on it, so I'm working without my grid paper today. So put my plates in. So I'm taking my envelope. Now this is quite a tight fit. We want it to go through the die cutter. Don't think it will go that way, so you're going to have to put it through this way, and it's quite a tight fit. Can you see there? It will go through, but it's not, there's not a lot of room for movement. So what I'm going to do, let's just move that out of the way. Can you still see me working here? I hope so. Yes. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up in position to where I want it to go. Oh no, not that one. Let's use the right die. We need this. We need the one that's going to carry out the pattern first. That's what we need on the envelope. This is the one we need. So yeah. So we're just going to cut that pattern out and roughly do it centrally. I'm not going to measure it, but I am going to stick it down with a little bit of, if I can get hold of it, a little bit of washi tape, just to hold that down in place. You can use the magnetic plate, but the magnetic plate for these die machines has been delayed because there was a problem with it and they've all been recalled. So I hardly ever worry about a magnetic plate. I always use low tack tape to do that. You could use a bit of post-it note. So just get that lined up, so it's just got to squeeze through your die cutter, and then just push that through. You could use this die, of course, on cards as well. It would make a lovely centerpiece for a card. And I just wanted to show you today the possibilities, because I don't want you to miss out on these dies if you wanted to buy them, and at a bargain price. Right, can you see how that has punched? So some of it hasn't punched out. I just need to get a little poking tool. So I'll get a little cocktail stick and just poke. They poke out really easily. That's cut really lovely. Okay, let's get rid of all those bits. Just get rid of all, they all stick themselves to the plate. There we go. Got rid of all of those. Right, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of DSP, and I'm using the ombre DSP, which is part of this year's celebration. So once you've seen the celebration, you'll see you can get a pack of this paper, Bermuda Bay on one side and Rococo Rose on the other, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to position this. Oh, moved my plate. I don't know where that's going to go. Let me line that up again. There we go. Sadly, my mini die cutter wouldn't do for this card, so which is why I'm having to use the big one. Hardly ever use it these days. Right, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put this on here like so, and again, so we want to try and get it equidistant so that the ends, so this is a 6x6 sheet of paper, and it should just about, this die should just about fit on it. The ends of those things should be at the sides of the paper. There we go, and we're just going to put that through again. So I know maybe some of you did get a die cutter for Christmas. That might have been a nice crafty Christmas present for some of you. I can remember when I first had mine, I was so excited. And I was so excited when I got this new one from Stampin' Up, actually, after my big shop more or less gave out. Although I did have my big shop for a long time. So if you've just got a big shop, don't worry. It will last you a long, long time. Right, okay, so I'm just going to trim off here and here. And then I'm going to bring my cutter in. And I'm going to trim this down a little bit, because what you don't necessarily need is, you don't need that paper going all the way down in the envelope, because it's not going to be seen. So you really only need it to come to a bit. So if I put that on my envelope, which is here, and think, where do I need that to come to? I only need it to come to about there. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark, and I'll tell you the measurement in a minute when I get it on the trimmer. Find my trimmer. Where's it hiding? Here it is. Where have I put it? Oh, there. Right, okay, so I've got a little pencil mark there, so I'm cutting it. I'm going to do it this way around. So I'm cutting off at the bottom. I'm cutting off 5.2 centimetres. So if you wanted to do it exactly the same as mine, that's what you need to do. Right, okay. And so now what I'm going to do, and this is an important bit, I learned this by doing this the other day, is when you glue, so that's going to go in there. My advice to you would to be only glue the bit that is on the flap, and then you can bend it like so. Oh, doesn't that look nice poking through? I like that colour. You can bend it, but I wouldn't glue this part, because when you've got a bend involved, you need some give. So if you just glue this top panel, then this panel here can move up and down as you open and close the envelope. It's not going to go anywhere, it's going to be fine, but just don't glue the bottom bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue on here, because I need to be able to see where I want to glue with the pattern. So we're just going to try do a little bit of glue in. So just making sure I'm holding down all of the little bits of this pattern, spreading it out a bit, and then gluing over the sides here and across the top here, like so. And then you can take your, I'm just going to fold that right back, and I'm going to try and push this into here and then line it up. There we go. Try and get this one in the middle. Turn it around a bit. Making it look much more complicated than it actually is, actually. It's really not that complicated. Right, is that in the middle? I just want it to be centered exactly. There we go. Is that more or less there? Right, and there we are. So that will fold down, and like I say, that middle section, but can you see, I don't know whether you can actually see, as you open it, it just moves up a little bit, and that not gluing it allows it to do that. So that's one envelope decorated. Beautiful. So it's got, so if I was going to do a card now, I might work backwards. So I might make a card using this colour and this colour so that it matches my envelope, and I can send the envelope with it. It's the wrong way round really, but I don't think that matters. Right, now next what we are going to do is we're going to do a panel like this. So all of those other ones, so that one was done in exactly the same way, just cut the die and add that. This one as well, so I die cut the pattern and then I glued the insert in. These would be lovely if you were doing wedding invitations as well, just to make the envelopes more special. That one's done in exactly the same way, and then this, oh, and that one we've shown you, and then these two slightly different because we've just cut the edge to make them scallops. So I'm going to show you how I did this one. So I'm going to take another C6 envelope, and we're going to glue, this. Oh no, did I have a problem with this? I think I did. Let me think. Where was my envelope? I'm just remembering now as I did it. I think the seats, can't find the envelope I want now. There it is. I think you actually need 12 by 12 paper, because this is not quite big enough to cover the whole flap. Just remembered that, and that's not going to be quite long enough. I'm going to go with it for the moment because this is what I've got out, and my paper is not handy. But when you're doing it, you might bear in mind that you'd be better off using a piece of 12 by 12, just so that you can get these two little aids. About another centimetre you need on top of a 6 by 6 width. But I'm going to go with it for the moment, and I'm going to glue that onto my panel there. And you notice it doesn't come quite down enough, but that's not going to matter, she says confidently. Let's hope, hey? Right, so just put some glue on here. Would have been better off actually putting it on the flap, because now my glue is going to overlap a little bit, but hey ho. So you might want to remember that as well. Put the glue on the flap. It's just a couple of these little corners have got glue on them now and not needed. Right, there we go. And then we're just going to trim off those extra little bits there. And like I said, it's not going to come quite to the corners here, which maybe doesn't matter, but if you wanted it to cover it exactly, you're going to need 12 by 12 paper rather than 6 by 6. There we go. Right, okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this die, which is just a scallop. And I don't know if you can see, if I put it on there, actually, let's put it on something dark. Can you see there's little marks on this die? And that's to tell you where to line up according to the different size envelopes. So for the little one, the 3 by 3, those marks are marked there for you. And then they go up with to the note cards and the more cards. And the one that we want is the very biggest one. So we want this one. And I'm going to do it fairly low down because my paper doesn't quite go up to the edge. So if you've got a piece of paper that's a bit short, you can glue it further down. You'll just have a slightly shorter flap, but it won't matter. So just glue that in there. And once again, we're going to try and get this through our die cutter. Oops, unwanted die attaching itself there. Right, okay, and again, you just need to centre that up nice and straight so that it can go through. Just slightly overlaps the plates. You can see how well used my plates are. I use this machine an awful lot. Right, there we go. And take it off. Now, of course, you could also do a pattern in here if you wanted to. You could cut out the pattern. Right, there we go. So now I've got a flap. And I have to say that I would prefer it to go all the way along. If I'd remembered that I needed 12 by 12, I would have got that ready. I was thinking that 6 by 6 would do it. But of course, you could do it on a note card. And that would have been plenty. I should have done that, really. I should have changed to doing it on a note card envelope, shouldn't I? Hey ho. Right, there you go. We learn by our mistakes, and you can see some of you write to me and say, oh, I can't get anything right. Well, you can see I make mistakes as well, even now, and I've been crafting for more years than I care to remember. Anyway, I hope you like that project, and I hope it might inspire you to just have another little splurge before these go out of stock, because they really are lovely and they really do help to make your envelopes. Of course, you can stamp on your envelopes to make them special, but I just think having a lovely lining makes them even more special. So I hope you've liked that project. Thank you for joining me today. The new catalogues are due out really soon, so they go live the 5th of January. So if you're interested in a catalogue and you're not already on my list, please let me know and I'll pop one in the post to you, absolutely free of charge. Be delighted to send one to you. And that's it from me today. Hope you've all had a lovely Christmas season, and maybe have a nice New Year's Eve if I don't see you again before. Meanwhile, if you want to subscribe, you can just click the subscribe button and you won't miss any of my videos, especially some of you I know are following my card making for beginners course. And I will be back very soon with another video. Have a lovely day. Thanks very much. Bye bye.